Hello Aquarians, this is your reading for 17. There's no particular spread, so let's go ahead and get started. First, you got the Ten of Cups upright, and this tells me that you could have recently united with someone, had a marriage, and you're just happy and complete, and you have like this really good relationship going on. And since this is a Ten Cup, and you have other tens in your reading, such as the Ten of Swords in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune, which is the number. And then we have the World, which just means like a completion, which would be as the number of completions. So it says, you have emotional hope, okay? It also talks about, since you have the Hermit later on, that you've been victorious about something, like this marriage or this relationship, you got what you wanted. Like your dreams came true, but it's like a muted victory, okay? It's like not everything you expected it to be. Because you have this of Cups clarifying it immediately after, and it's in reverse. So when it's upright, it makes me think, you had this childlike wonder at this new world that you were having, and here you can see it's like childhood wonder. Look at the world, look at the rainbow, it's beautiful, okay? You have like complete bliss here. And then here this is saying it's childlike wonder, like everything's wonderful, okay? But you have it in reverse, so it tells me you did have this, but like somehow or another the victory got muted. Or you thought it was going to be this, and it wasn't exactly as thrilling as you thought. But this reminds you to focus on the fact that we shouldn't live in complete bliss all the time. That's a rare thing. So eventually things are going to just go back to normal, okay? You'll go back to a normal life. That rush, that immediate rush, will dissipate, and that's okay. It's supposed to be that way. So the next card you got is the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. People automatically think, ooh, negative, bad, okay? What this tells me is just that there's some kind of a stagnation, and just, accept the situation for what it is. It's not really bad. It's kind of muted, okay? And not as powerful as you thought. And so just make some positive changes to see if, you might get to be back on top again, okay? I mean, it just might be, could be an unlucky time, that's possible. Basically, just take some actions. Don't take any risks. But this is going to lead to your love life being dark, okay? If there really is some reason why this relationship isn't working out, that could be why there's a turn of fortune. I really just see this as a muted victory. But this says you need to do some introspection because you're just kind of out of control, or something's out of control. And so you need to just kind of reflect, go inside yourself, get some solitude. And then to clarify that, 3 cards fell out. So first is King of Pentacles. There's not a lot of swords in here. I was real surprised, Aquarius. And I don't really see any particular card that represents you. So I'm thinking this is the person that you're in this Ten of Cups relationship with, or that you were, depending on what happened. So with it's King, right? Yeah, King of Pentacles. This person is a reliable friend. It came before the World. So it's warning that you're going to miss your path or the goals that come after that, okay? Because the World's over here and it came before it. So this muted victory that you're having, this almost like a self-pity when nothing's actually gone on, it's going to keep you from getting your goals, okay? You're going to miss your path. And so that's why the Wheel of Fortune is saying do some reflection, get back on the path, okay? And it's funny that you get the Hermit later on, okay? Because that's what the Hermit would tell you to do, is get back on the path and reflect. And I mean, there have been like some infidelity if you thought you were going to have it one way and it turned out to be muted, and then you sought the affections of someone else. Okay. It talks about you're going to get life experience, and it's going to help you with your spiritual knowledge. And just this person appreciates quality and tradition, but the love's not easily won, okay? There needs to be some security here. This person's loyal even though they're possessive, okay? Or you're loyal even though you're possessive. After this King of Pentacles, we got the Ace of Cups in reverse, which tells me to trust your inner, you're not trusting your inner knowing. Like, maybe you want a new relationship, but don't do it. It says you're not on the right path. You have this emotional turmoil. You were hoping for an exciting phase with this love. Like, this is what you want, but you're not getting that exciting phase. So you're frustrated. And you may turn to fantasy, like an affair, because it says you can find love and support in other ways. Or that's what you try. Because you're not getting this love that you want at home. So you're going to change. And it says, you know, it will cause a revolution. Okay? It could be that you or somebody else has a false heart. Maybe you found out that, see, this King of Pentacles is loyal. So if this is you for some reason, it says you're loyal and somebody else was unfaithful, or they're trying to seek faithfulness. I thought this was your other partner. And it says they're loyal, maybe you were unfaithful. But let's go to the world, okay? Because it's upright, and that's always a good thing. This talks about completions. And remember, we have these 10s and these completions, so it says you have emotional hope. With the world, this tells me that you're going to be free from this oppression. And later on, you have the, where was it? I'll think about it. The Ace of Cups. So this says, you know, you want this, you're turning to fantasy because you think there's no emotional hope. Then right after that Ace of Cups, which thinks, you know, you want to go find love elsewhere, the world says with this Ace of Cups, doesn't matter if it's reversed or not, that you're going to have a new emotional satisfaction. Please don't let this new emotional satisfaction be someone else other than the person in your marriage or your committed relationship. Because that's going to take the world and it's going to flip it upside down because it's a dishonest means. So I think you're going to be able to get love from your current relationship or whichever one's represented by this 10 of Cups. Like, you have hope for emotional renewal. Maybe you've been in a really stagnant relationship for a long time, represented by the Wheel of Fortune. In reverse and the Ace of Cups in reverse. But you're going to get like a fresh start to your relationship. And I think that's really wonderful. This talks about victory. You're going to like join together. You're going to grow and mature together. You're going to heal if there was something that happened. And this says, you know, you're going to have that climax you wanted, that abnormal happiness. Okay. This, you know, says the success is anticlimactic. Well, here it's climactic. Okay. I mean, it's possible this is a new person, but it talks about renewal. Okay, so I think it's with the same person. So you aren't getting this emotional renewal, this, you know, awe-inspiring happiness and victory, but then you are going to get it, okay? See if there's anything else I can get from it. Basically just growing and maturing, okay? Could be some cheers, like you graduate, you become whole again, okay? You feel like there's a completion going on. And then next we have the 10 of Swords in reverse. So this talks about ready to get out of a difficult situation. And you don't see yourself succeeding unless you change, unless you work really hard to change your reality. But this tells me there could have been a betrayal, okay, I hear, that's in the past. You're no longer immobilized by this, you know, muted victory that you were supposed to have. And here we have the past love was really boring and routine. Here it's not, okay? So that's probably what this means. Then we have the Moon in reverse. This tells me there's no deception going on, but you're just unable to change or move on, or somebody's not. This also talks about the opposite of a dream lover. Okay, there could be, just like release your fear. Okay, purge that fear. You know, you're confused, just, there's no deception going on. If you think somebody was cheating on you, and that's why your marriage was kind of boring, that's not what's going on. You need to get rid of that fear. It says that it's an error, okay? And the reason why this could be unstable and you're feeling this way is because there's something that you need to be dealing with, okay? And I got the 3 of Cups upright to clarify the Moon. I wasn't even trying to clarify the Moon. I was actually trying to clarify this Hermit, but I kept saying the Moon out loud. So I figured I might as well use it for the Moon. And we could also talk to the Hermit if we needed to. But with the 3 of Cups, this talks about celebration, something being alive, a solution to a problem, a good outcome, a healing. Okay. Talks about perfection, solace, being fulfilled, making a pledge to one another. So if there did happen to be a third party at some time, you're healing from it. And you might make another pledge to each other, and that just kind of concludes the matter. It's over, you're having a good time now. Everything's forgiven. But it could just be you finally realize that you were just being a little paranoid about something, okay? And that you needed some introspection, which we got the Hermit in reverse. This means that you're afraid, you're lonely, and just being too cautious and hiding. This says you need to go back to the Strength card, which comes before the Hermit. Just go back and get your strength. And it's funny because we got the Strength right after it, clarifying it, okay? So whatever happened, you need to be strong. And you just be so focused on the truth, and it's saying let it go. Don't be fearful of being vulnerable. Don't avoid your problems. You feel left out in the cold, but I don't really think that's playing into this right here. It says it's possible to rekindle the past romance, okay? Don't be afraid of being alone, okay? Give attention to your partner, ask about their insight, what they think. Just, see what happens with that, because this person's off the path. Okay, they have gone in for some self-reflection, and they just kind of hid out and being selfish and just not making wise decisions. They got to know themselves, but they're just staying, and they're too scared to come out. Okay, so what you want to do is, instead of being afraid of being alone, get out. Be vulnerable. Let go whatever truth it is that you were trying to seek that probably isn't even there to begin with. Because there was some paranoia going on here. So live on your own terms. Be selfless, be of service. He's standing on this mountain cliff area, which represents stability. Okay, so he's stable. This is unstable. Come out, be stable. You got your solitude, you got that. Just be humble, focus on what matters. And if you did lose something, you're not alone, okay? There's other people. You're loving yourself. Don't try so hard. Just take that step back, gain some perspective. And just focus on your connection. Stop looking for the truth, okay? So talking about strength, it said go back to strength, and you're going to get it. You're going to be strong. You're going to get that balance back, because first you're unstable, then you have balance. So good, yay. So thinking about strength, and it's upright, that's always good. You're going to step up to the situations when other people might quit. It says, don't show your fear. Be confident. This relationship has a chance to go the distance. Don't take each other for granted. There's a tendency to do that here. Because one is usually more dependent on the other. And one needs them to be dependent on them, so don't be codependent. Just accept somebody for who they are. You're going to master your circumstances. You're going to challenge yourself. There's going to be agreed upon control issues going on. Because there could be a desire for power, but you guys are going to just be mutually supportive. Think beyond your instincts. Exercise your self-control. And also this talks about, lusting after each other. So that's a good thing in this case. Because it seems like that may not have been very strong at first. This could represent a lack of self-control. And here you're actually going to control it. Like controlling the lust where it's at a reasonable level. That's all I'm seeing for that. At least for now. I'm going to get some further clarification with favorite deck about if this strength has to do with lust or just self-control. Okay, hold on. Got something. The World upright again. Okay, so this is good. So we know the World, when it comes with the, it comes with something, what was it? The Ace of Cups. You're going to have that emotional renewal. Okay, so if somebody was emotionally unfaithful, it's going to be renewed. And I like that it's upright because it just means basically you're just going to grow and mature and heal. You're going to join together. You're going to have a trophy, a victory. You're going to have laurels. People are going to congratulate you. It could be you're getting married. Maybe you thought you were going to get married and then something happened. Let's clarify these. This Ten of Swords in reverse. Justice. Okay. So with Justice, I see an air sign. So this could be you. I mean, it's supposed to be Libra, but, I'll get what I can. Talks about equality and right and truth. But see here, this says, stop seeking the truth. So I think that's what you were looking for about a past betrayal or a past hurt. It says you have to be objective. Just be brutally honest with yourself because you're going to be victorious. Use your logic, though, in conjunction with your emotions and your intuition. You might become a new person. Just think about permanent consequences as opposed to fleeting consequences. Like this might be saying, don't have an affair because that's a permanent consequence to a relationship and it takes a lot to heal that. But it is time for a decision whether or not you want to continue. It could be that you settled because you just didn't know your worth. It says you don't really know yourself. So you go and you get to know yourself, what the card suggested, but then you just stay there. And you need to get out after a while. Like, don't be alone forever. If you have a separation, doesn't need to be for a long time. Also, thinking Justice, when you have the World, that's got to be something. Yeah, okay. So when you have Justice and the World, you have the World twice. So everything's going to work out in your favor. Okay, that's just what that means when you have those together. And it's obviously true. Just like you're going to have a release of some powerful energy. Like you might release paranoia, you release hurt, you release betrayals, and you're going to celebrate again. This Three of Cups could represent a betrayal, so you may just release this. Like, what are you releasing? The Ten of Swords, the Moon, and the Three of Cups. You could be releasing a lot of stuff. And everything's just going to go in your favor now. Okay, let's see what we got. Seven of Swords, upright. I mean, it's better when it's upright than when it's down, okay? This just says, something have been dishonestly achieved. So somebody could have withdrawn. There was an emotional betrayal, okay? Somebody was afraid of being trapped. And it just says, be cautious. It also talks about education, and I do see the World as education as well. So maybe you're going to get some education about yourself in the situation. If you weren't content in a relationship, you will get that. But it might not be until after you have an affair and then you realize that you got a new emotional renewal from your current partner. When you get that strength after the Hermit, it says you'll eliminate depression if you've had a breakup or just after any kind of a fight. It says you can reconcile after a breakup. Somebody's going to show compassion. But you'll have to, use your inner strength, your will, your determination. You'll have to be a little courageous. The Seven of Swords says you have to stabilize your mind. Somebody could be changeable. You feel like you have to prove yourself or you need a plan B. And see, with the reversed Ace of Swords, which you have, you don't have Ace of Swords, you have Ace of Cups. Never mind. Okay. It says you need to communicate honestly because there may be some gossip going on. But you have hope and confidence, okay? You quarrel. You may have some failed plans, but there's hope and confidence to have, okay? Just, make a plan B. What is this Three of Cups about? Is it celebration or is it representative of three parties? Nine of Cups in reverse. Okay. So it talks about greed, being close to your goal, but having a setback. So maybe you're really close to getting this emotional renewal, and then there was some kind of an infidelity. But basically, you're disappointed. Wish wasn't granted. Somebody is taking care of their own needs and being selfish, being shallow, and they're indulging in too much. It's like gluttony and greed. I'm assuming this would be as far as needing lots of love or lots of attention or lots of sex. So somebody's just not regarding someone else. So I think it is about infidelity. There may not be a celebration. But don't worry, you're going to get the World at the end with strength. And the Seven of Swords upright says you can have some hope. Oh, Page of Swords in reverse. Oh, I don't like to see this. Okay. So basically, there's a disappointment and trouble. There could be unsettling rumors or mind games, a liar, a trickery. Somebody's hiding the truth. Love interest is being manipulative. And that can go with the Seven of Swords. And it's hard to salvage a current relationship until you wait for a better time. And there's a lot of like spying going on because there's no trust anymore. And you could be, like, the event was so unforeseen and unpredictable that you feel like you have to be so vigilant now that it's making you ill. And the moon talks about mental illness and paranoia, okay, based on a past betrayal. And this also says, watch out for somebody who's a Cancer or a Taurus. So this could be the person who's deceiving you or hiding the truth. It does talk about a defeat because the sword is down. Let's clarify this moon in reverse. What's the moon in reverse about? Four of Cups in reverse. It talks about fear of being alone. Depression affects your love life. Yeah, I can see that. It says you might understand that the man you're with is not right for you, and you need to break up to make room. If you're seeking pleasure only, like as in an affair, it's just not going to satisfy you. And if you have low self-esteem, you need to restore it. Seek another kind of an outlet other than another person, because you want a committed relationship. You might be given enough of yourself. You think that there's another option out there for you. But your lover, whoever it is, doesn't think there's anybody better than you. But you feel that way. But basically there's just some kind of a disappointment. Can you clarify what the world at the end is going to be? Okay. Five of Pentacles upright. I would like to see this. Talks about being left out in the cold, blocked happiness. Somebody thinks, like your love interest thinks that they're not good enough for you, that you won't be happy with them. I mean, it'd be true. I mean, it's talking about the world, and the world is like completion. It could be like the ending of something, but it's usually very positive. So if you leave somebody, you leave them out in the cold, then it's going to be a good thing. What are some steps that this person could do to prevent the Wheel of Fortune in reverse? Whatever that represents, I'm not sure exactly. Queen of Cups upright. Okay. So it just says be calm and compassionate. Be emotionally secure. And I think that's something that we either bring it about or you have to be that way after the Wheel of Fortune happens. Basically be a good wife and mother. Listen to your inner voice. Empathize with people. Think with your heart. But don't be like over emotional. You have to be practical. And just let people know that you need to be needed. Okay? You need to be that safe harbor for somebody. And just this also, the advice says go ahead and put up some emotional boundaries because you tend to take on the emotions of others. Okay. What steps can this person take to prevent the Ace of Cups in reverse? Which could possibly be infidelity or seeking love and attention elsewhere. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. That's a suspicious person. Somebody who's careless and tricky. Somebody who's evil, being fearful, being in suspense, mistrusting, working too much, being greedy. Doesn't seem much like a step. I mean, I would never tell somebody be suspicious. Because that's already going to be happening with this Page of Swords in reverse after a bad event. I mean, this could be the person who is cheating. You notice they're both pentacles, right? So you have King of Pentacles, which I think would represent the male person in the relationship. And the Queen of Pentacles would be the female person. And it's in reverse. So I think this is the person who's cheating. This is the person who's loyal. This is the person who's not loyal. They might be careless. Because this is like having a short-term relationship. This is long-term. This is being secure and free. This is not being secure, not being free. This is, earning loyalty through a test, like earning love. And here you're not doing that. You didn't earn somebody's loyalty, or you're not asking anybody else to earn your loyalty. Here you're assessing shrewdly, and here it's not happening. So it very well could be you're the one who needs emotional satisfaction somewhere else. Because again, the victory was muted. You didn't have that childlike wonder or that relationship you thought you would have previously, if it is a past partner, or that relationship you thought you would have, or that marriage you thought you would have as a child. And it could be that this King of Pentacles is just really boring to you, very mathematically minded, traditional, maybe a little lethargic, you know, or you could just see him as a reliable friend. Yeah, it says love's not easily won with this person, and they're loyal, but they're possessive. Okay, what are steps to take to prevent infidelity? Because mistrust does not seem like what I was thinking the cards would give you. Maybe the steps are they need to mistrust you. 3 of Wands in reverse. Okay, so there's going to be delays. It's like a lack of seeing something coming. Disappointment. Feel like you have wasted your time. And just you're struggling to put your plans into action. You're not able to pursue the goals you want with your lover. Your lover wants to move and you don't want to. But basically there's just like a lack of cooperation or bad luck. It says you have to be open, dream big, embrace changes. You know, consider an opportunity. Be prepared. Yeah, this says be prepared. So maybe you need to mistrust and be prepared. Have that plan B that we talked about. Oh, what card was that? Was it Strength? No, I don't remember what it is now. Basically, you have a plan B all the time anyway. High Priestess in reverse. Yeah, that says basically allow, trust yourself, okay? There could be some gossip. You may feel like you need a commitment. You believe what you're told, but this says, don't believe what you're told. Just take some time out, be quiet. Just mistrust until you get your analysis done. Okay, an answer's going to come. You may not like what your instincts are telling you, or your intuition. And you have to forget a past hurt. You think there's a hidden agenda, but just listen to your intuition, okay? Trust yourself. So there's some good advice here. I mean, everything's supposed to work in your favor anyway with the Justice card. Like, you have a really big release. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Somebody hurt you, let them know they hurt you. Let me just have to be the end of it. Okay. What's overall advice for Aquarians for the month of 19? Knight of Wands in reverse. Okay, so avoid an affair because this Knight of Wands person is a shady dude. Okay, he's just going to depart and he's going to leave. He's going to be absent. He's a flighty person. He doesn't like commitment. He could be a dark young man. Okay. Talks about interruptions, rupture, discord, division. You could go on a long journey, possibly, but there's like false whispers and hesitation. This screams an affair to me. So it says, don't do it. Because this person, they're flirtatious, but they're going to leave. Like, they can't do commitments. They leave a path of destruction wherever they go. And I'm seeing the path of destruction that you're going to have to build really hard to make it whole again. Oh, yeah. Now you have Ace of Cups upright at the very end. Again, trust your inner knowing. You're going to have joy and love and abundance. Joy is actually right in front of you. You're going to have this overwhelming emotion, this overwhelming romance. You're going to renew your romance. You're going to have the exciting phase. You're going to be on the right path. You're going to receive love. The relationship's not going to end, okay? Like you're going to have this offer of love. You could reconcile if something does happen, okay? But the best plan is to avoid it, especially if it's you doing it, because you can just not do something. If it's not you, the steps are, trust your inner knowledge. You can mistrust until you get an answer. And then there may just be some obstacles, okay? Maybe just some bad luck. You could get disappointed and you feel like you wasted your time, but, be open, embrace some change. Just try to expand yourself a little bit. Because change is coming. Okay, it could be an ending, but there's just going to be a transformation. I think it's a transformation of this Cups relationship. Because when you have lots of cups, it says there's hope for emotional renewals, hope for emotions. So with death, I think you're going to get it. Okay, this is inevitable change. Something's going to change, and I think it's going to be for the best. Because here, this will be stagnation. Here, it's good. Okay. All right, Aquarians. I hope you enjoyed your reading. Like or comment on the bottom. Let me know how it resonated for you. And if there was something different you saw that might apply to some people, let me know. All right. Be happy, Aquarians.